Hello everyone, welcome back to CraftyNurseQ. In today's video, I will be closing out my April budget, counting out my envelopes, and seeing how much I saved and how much is going to be going back to the bank. If these types of videos interest you, stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. So the first thing that we do when I'm going through and closing out my budget is I go through my cash binders, and I go in and do a count on all of the envelopes and just make sure that they are where, just so that I can know where I am. And also I go through my weekly expenses. So right now I'm at my weekly expenses for the final week in April, and I also check those to see where I am and how it aligned with my budget, and to make sure that I stayed on track for the month. Okay, so I am going to go in and make sure that I am also keeping, because that's what I'm trying to keep track of. I didn't write week 3 or week 4 in as far as what I did for my savings challenges, and then my food and home budget. I am going to go so that I can total that up, because that's an area I've been keeping close watch on, is my grocery budget, because I've been coming up with a lot of overspending over the months. I think when I did my first cash stuffing, I had given myself like a budget of like $600 for groceries, and I realized as I went through for the spending, I was spending like double that on food. So that's somewhere that I just went ahead and readjusted and made sure that my spending, and I was allocating enough to that fund. 33, 40, 56, second funds, subscriptions. So these are always 40. Okay, week 4, my savings challenge is 36. Total is awesome. So that's how much I ended up saving for the month of April. Alright, I added up all the totals, and food and homes this week is 304.53. So let's see how we did with our overall budget here. Oh, oh, oops, that did good then. I stayed under 6, 11, 69, 57. I should just say 1150, but that's pretty good then. And for the most part, right now, honestly, anytime I have something over, I am using it like to throw towards debt, because I have a lot of debt. Right? I mean, I'm in the process of paying down my debt, so that's usually what I do. All right. Okay. So that's that part of it. And then also, while you're doing this part where you're reviewing your transactions, you're just making sure that all of your expenses are accounted for. I also use it to make sure, and I go through my monthly, my monthly layout to make sure that everything has come out, and that it was marked paid as it should have been marked. So I keep track of my expenses weekly, and that's one of the goals that I have actually. And because this gives me a different view of the bills that I have. Because I know when I first started using this method of putting it on the monthly calendar, I actually saw once that I was being charged twice. It was like something, one of those Roku subscriptions, but anyway, it was coming out twice, and I think it was Nick Jr. But anyway, when I reached out to them and they saw it, that it was coming out of 2 of my credit cards, and I had 2 accounts, they went ahead and refunded it for me. So that's definitely an area that you should be checking, especially if you're trying to consider whether or not you're needing to adjust your budget. And I do have, like, in case you don't have any like weekly expenses, like I do have these, like most of the things that you see me using, I do have available in my shop. And oh, one thing that I did do, I have to come up with something that I'm gonna do for my no spend days, because I did have a few. It was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's not bad. So I had 6 no spend days. It's not like I was doing the challenge, but that is nice that I did have a few days. But the only thing is, like, those days were like either I stayed in all day or I wasn't feeling so good or under the weather. And then it's like, it seems like after that I go on some sort of like shopping excursion after I do it. All right. And then anytime I'm closing out my budget, whether it be for the week or really for the month, well, every week I do go through my envelopes and make sure that, and see if I had anything left over. And like I mentioned before, I have gone through these and I know that there's nothing in this one, but this is my personal spending wallet. That's the one that I take with me. And it has nothing left in it. So that's like for my variable spending, like my groceries and gas. And this one is my debt snowball binder. Now this one has, I've been doing these where this has the debt snowball and the month ahead in these binders. So today I am actually going to be unstuffing these and allocating the funds where they need to go, paying some of these bills. So that is something that you're about to see me do as I go through, and I'm going to be counting through these. I did have a video where I recently just counted this out. So it's, and I have not done a cash stuffing since then. So this is going to be the exact same, but I also, I will show you where I've written. I do have a place in my binder where I write out what my debt, what, how much. I have the trackers that are in the envelopes, but I also track what is in the envelopes within my budget planner. So, and you can see here, these are my goals. This is my debt snowball tracker. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started here with unstuffing these envelopes. I will leave some notes as I go through, and this is I'm gonna write the binders, even though I do have it already, but I still want to leave myself some notes. And then this is the 20, 40, 50. And that way I can just reset for next month. Take this stuff and get some debt paid down. 100, 110, 120, 30, 140, 150. That was another firm. What was it, 150? Okay. And then I'm going to switch this up too. It's not going to be just a bunch of different firms. That's just going to be one envelope. Because I do have a bunch of them started at like $800 for a firm. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 100 in that one. Stockers bill, go ahead and pay it. Give myself some little wins. And it was $41 in there. Alright, there's nothing in student loan, nothing in the tax, nothing in the other. Well, these are just extra ones. Okay, so now we're in the month ahead. We'll do that month ahead binder. And car insurance, 2040. Car note, 20, 45, 46, 47, $48. Cell phone. And I am going to start doing a bills binder coming up, because I wasn't doing that, but I feel like that's a way for me to get better control of what's happening. There was nothing in Kernel. It was 48 in Kernel, right? 100 in cell phone. That'd be good for the cell phone bill. Okay. Internet had 30. Mortgage I hadn't started. P.O. Box. P.O. Box has 20. Put that back there like it was 50s. I don't like with 50s. It's hard for me to count when like 50, when it gets like off, it messes me up. And utilities had 30. For the most part, I may have to start, because since I'm about to do the bills binder, I'm gonna need higher denominations, but I don't know. I think I might just be dealing with the hundreds and the 20s still. Okay, let's go here. Now my savings challenges, I'm gonna leave those where they are, because that's what they're there for me to get ahead and save. Really, at this point, all my savings really is just gonna be just going to towards my month ahead or my debt snowball. Okay, birthdays. This is the name of this binder. Oh, sinking funds. Birthdays. Okay, birthdays. 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 105 in birthdays. Kids, 3 head. 3 head, 10. Nothing in gas. Nothing in giving. Groceries and everything. Had something in house cash. Okay. 15 house cash. Right. Rain. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. Kids has 11. They've been busy. I told you all your trips coming up. All that stuff. End of the year. All this stuff started coming up. Okay. Alright, but I haven't been car maintenance. Yes. Car maintenance has 30. Looking at car tags. Clothing. Men, 30, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. here. Okay, these subscriptions. One, two, three, 4, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's it for that one. That's it. That's all the policy. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna get this organized a little bit. Set this over. Okay, let's calculate this. We got one here. Second funds 105, 10, 15, 55, 11, 30, 40, 12. Ahead 40, 48, 100, 30, 20, 30. That's 268. Okay, so 268 plus 678 plus 441, 1387. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. 600. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 84, 20, 40, 60, 85, 20, 40, 540, 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 10, 120, 30, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Alright, that's correct. Alright. Alright, so this money is going to go to the bank. And so that's part of the process. And then, like I said, what I do also when I'm closing out the budget is I go in and I see, if my savings, how much am I spending? Am I spending too much? Do I need to start adjusting? Do I need to start adjusting the plan? What things can I do to make sure that I'm reaching the goals that I've set for myself? So some of the goals, the goals that I've set for myself as, let me see, I do have a detailed goal, like for my financial goals, and that's something that you want to do. So that way you have something to strive for. And mine is to have 50% of my consumer debt. One of them is to have 50% of my consumer debt paid off by this year, within a year's time. So I started this in April. I didn't exactly start with my goals at the beginning of the year, and it's to make extra debt payments monthly Also, I want to make sure that I'm tracking my weekly spending. So that's something that I'm doing now. So I'm staying on track with that goal. And, like I said, pay down consumer debt, create a monthly budget, and keep from opening new credit lines. Okay, so I didn't do so good with that because I did open up a couple more firms. So that's why that bill went up. And so that's something I have to work on. And so then you have to, you want to give yourself some action steps towards what you're trying to do. As far as groceries, I pretty much stayed within budget. But now I want to see if, like, if I even if I can get my grocery bill down some, then that can go to some more of my consumer debt. So what I want to do for that is to start doing some meal planning for my groceries and doing some couponing or stuff like that. Of course, I'm tracking my bills and, using the cash envelopes to make sure I'm staying within my budget. That's why I'm saying I'm going to have to go, like, to be a little more strict with it and pulling out the money for the bills. And then, I just have to put them back in at the end of the month. But, you just have to know where you are as far as and what your goals are, making sure that they're staying aligned. So I did say I was going to create the list of the debt snowball. Now I did that this month, so that's something I can check off. Make sure I'm keeping track of the debt, make monthly payments, and I'm gonna try to make some payment arrangements too with this debt snowball. And I'm making sure I'm tracking my spending and doing that. That means that you have to write everything down, and and then also categorize what you're needing to write. So those are some of my financial goals, and those are the steps that I'm taking. So I guess I was just wondering, like, are you guys like having like, what are some of your financial goals right now? Leave me some comments and let me know what your goals are and how you're planning to stay on track with those. And I was thinking I do want to go ahead and make this as a digital download as well, like so people, just in case somebody doesn't have like the thing where they're doing their monthly goals, because that's something that helps you to stay on track with what you're doing. So all I'm going to be doing in the next upcoming video, you're going to see me setting up for my month of May. And like I said, I'm going to be entering some new budget envelopes because I'm going to be doing the bills breakdown as well in my calendar. And then, I also have my cash planning sheets. I do have some different cash planning sheets. So anyway, I'm just thankful to you guys for joining me today. And make sure you're closing out your budget. Tell me if that's something that you're working on or something you're trying to get started with. And if there's any way that I can help you along the way, you guys just leave me some comments. If you found any other value, like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. All right. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.